Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Whoo! I need some water after that one, Megan. 5-3. Second intermission, Avs, Blue Jackets. 2-1 after the first. Just an outburst of goals from both sides here in the second period. But Megan, you and I got thrown into a little bit of a scramble here because Cale Makar, 30 goals as a defenseman, first to do it since Mike Green. Just to kind of quickly throw you on the spot, before we get into everything else, a lot to like, a lot to not like in that period if we're talking about the Colorado Avalanche. But we got to start here. A historic moment for Cale Makar and the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah. Look, I don't think the conversation around the season Cale is having outside of the Avs fan base has been proper enough. And look, we were checking today because we were looking at how serious the Werenski for Norris bid was, because at earlier points in the season, this felt like more of a head-to-head matchup with Cale obviously continuing to be in the Norris conversation every year. But based on the year that he's having, he has kind of come away with it in the conversation. And I'm glad to see, because the results have supported this bid for Cale Makar. It's not just the production aspect, though. To sneakily just put up 30 goals and set a new franchise record and beat his own record within the organization. It's impressive because he individually is surpassing his best. This was in our conversation the other day about the 2022 Avs, how Cale Makar today, in my opinion, is a better Cale Makar than before. And he's had some injury things that have maybe hampered some of the other seasons that we've evaluated post-Cup run. But I think he doesn't get enough credit for being a strong player at both ends of the ice. And the offensive part of his game, so gifted, continues to be a strength of his that he manages to level up every year. You know, last year, down year for Cale Makar, I put in quotes, but still a new points total high for him. So it's unsurprising at this point. I don't know what the ceiling is for this player.
Ceiling? I don't even see a ceiling for him.
No, it's not on this planet.
No, and you know, Jared Bednar, talked about it earlier this year. Megan, we're talking about one of the greatest defensemen of all time. Look, I know there's going to be a lot of people who would say, "Oh, he's no Bobby Orr," and like, guess what? He is in that category. He's a special player who does special things, and this is just a not culmination. I can't think of what word I'm trying to put here, but this is the result of what a special player he is. It does not happen very often. I believe, when was Mike Green? 2011, 2012?
2008.
2008. All right, even further back than I thought. So 2008, the last time a defenseman hit 30 goals. Cale has been knocking on that door for the last couple seasons. Great to see him get over the hump. He got close last year. Again, this is something that I'm sure Cale Makar will tell us, like, I don't really care that much. But this is something to look back on at some point. Special moment, no doubt about it. I think it's a little bit poetic that it comes against Zach Werenski, who we had so many conversations about this season, all the way up till last intermission, about, hey, who's in the Norris conversation, who's not. Special moment for Cale Makar. Outside of that, this was a little bit of a roller coaster of a period for the Avs. It was a period that saw them start up a goal, saw them give away that lead at one point, and have to climb back in to get the game back even. They eventually do that, but Megan, overall, a little bit of a mess of a period for the Avs.
Yeah. So we talked about wanting to see them defend better through center ice, and that was a little bit of a problem on the second goal in the second period. And then up front, too, we talked about this with the Chicago game. They need to come up with pucks and win battles, and they lose a battle it's not that they lose the race to the puck, but they lose the battle to claim it. And it leads to kind of a weird angle goal from Zach Aston Reese beating Mackenzie Blackwood in kind of an uncharacteristic fashion. It's just one of those where, because it does unfold so quickly and you don't win that battle, and you've got Olivier inside of Lehkonen in that race back to the puck, though Taves made it there first. All of it is just this perfect storm of you're just a little bit of a step behind and you lost your edge.
Yep.
The puck goes in the back of the net. And so on the whole, those are the things that I don't love in this period. It's you need to be stronger in battles, which by the end of it, I do think that proved fruitful for them, looking at the Parker Kelly goal, for example. So we'll key in on the goal specifically here in a second, but that's my impression. They do limit the giveaways in this period. Whoa.
We've had a hard time just like conversing even with like amongst ourselves here tonight. I don't know what's happening.
Even before we went live,
right.
Something happened. I called it a Gail McCart goal.
Right.
Anyways, they limited the giveaways in this period compared to the first.
Yeah.
So fewer giveaways, but still those little parts of their game that I'd like to see them clean up. And look, they do. They make pretty significant improvements. They get a power play goal. We talked about wanting to see them be better on the man advantage. They get some depth scoring. Now Parker Kelly's in the mix. Charlie Coyle gets his first as an Av. So there was certainly improvement inside this second period compared to the first. But before that last-minute power play goal from Cale Makar, we were looking at kind of the same position that they were in coming out of the first. They're up by just one goal after a period of play. I just want to see a tiny bit better. They come ahead in the shots battle. Now they have a 2-goal lead on the Columbus Blue Jackets, so I'm not going to be too hard on them. It is, after all, the second leg in a back-to-back. And Mackenzie Blackwood has looked human tonight, so they're going to need to support their goaltender. Yeah,
a couple, we'll say, uncharacteristic goals against for Mackenzie Blackwood. But hey, look, you know, I keep referencing it because it was such a great conversation we had with Scott Wedgwood. But, you know, he made mention about, like, you got to battle for each other. We've talked about it here before. And, hey, there's a lot of nights where Mackenzie Blackwood has bailed you out since he got to town back in December. Yeah, guess what? There's going to be nights where you're going to need to help him out in the same way. And tonight is one of those nights, it looks like, for the Avs. This is, however, one of those moments for me where you've got a 2-goal lead going into the third period, and you've had a couple of goals against that if you're Mackenzie Blackwood, I'm sure you don't like, I'm sure you'd want back. This is one of those moments where, cool, you get a chance to make up for it here. You haven't liked a couple of your goals? That's fine. You get a chance to come out, have a big third period, and help get your team a win against a desperate hockey club that needs the points, maybe a little bit worse than you do. And again, I'm going to reference it again. I'm going to do it. Our conversation with Scott Wedgwood, where he said there was the Nashville game where the Avs lost 2-1 and he gave up 1 of 2 shots in the third. He said the only part that I was mad about was I didn't get a chance to make up for it. I only saw 2 shots in the third period. This is a game where Mackenzie Blackwood will have an opportunity to make up for what have maybe been some goals that you haven't loved earlier in this game.
No, and I think the team is doing what they need to support him, not only in coming up with goals, but they weren't creating at the start of the second period. They were limited to just 5 shots at the start. They allow the goal against kind of early into it, about 4 minutes into the second period. And they come away, though, with the shots lead, not only inside the period, but on the game so far after losing the shots battle coming out of the first. And so that points to more motivation and more effort on behalf of the team playing in front of Mackenzie Blackwood, because I want to remind everyone that this is a goaltender who set a career high in wins, games, starts, shutouts, and he's still in the top 10 in save percentage, goals against average, and wins. This is a goaltender who has come to Colorado and has done so much good. He's allowed an off night. It's a bit uncharacteristic too, the mistakes that I'm seeing, that I just don't feel like I'm watching Mackenzie Blackwood in net right now. I'm going to cut him a lot of grease. Okay? He's not seeing pucks quite the same way, allowing more second chances, second, third attempts than I'd like to see. And that's where the Avs can support him by tending to the net front a little bit more strongly. You know, there was a play on the Boone Jenner goal that I felt they could have been a little harder to play against at their net front, but I also thought they could have played that better at center ice. So a little bit of shared blame there, not hanging that one on Mackenzie Blackwood for sure. Everybody needs to support everybody tonight. That's why I love to see guys like Charlie Coyle get on the score sheet. I love the way the Parker Kelly goal starts too. It starts with getting Columbus off the puck, some hard work from Taves and O'Connor along the wall. And then Jack Drury just collects that loose puck, sends it to Parker Kelly, beats a great goaltender clean. I love to see it.
You saying that you're going to cut him grease just made that even funnier.
Cut him some grease.
Cut him some grease. Let's get to those goals because the first period, you and I talked about the fact that those first 2 goals, well, they were some of the Avs stars, and that was what we wanted to see in the first period. Well, it's always really nice when you can round things out and get support from your depth as well. That's exactly what happened to help get the Avs not only back into this game after they fell behind, but back in the driver's seat as you get Charlie Coyle's first goal of the season. And why is my brain going completely blank on who picked up the other one, even though you just said it? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Parker Coyle.
Obviously.
I don't even know if we should be doing this the rest of tonight. This is going horrible. Parker Kelly, for some reason, I can only think Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle because you and I were talking about those 2 together. But you get the Nathan McKinnon, Brock Nelson in period 1. You get Charlie Coyle, Parker Kelly in period 2, and then obviously the Cale Makar goal that comes after that. But here we are talking about, yes, you got that production out of your top guys in the first period to help get you going. Then when you needed it, your depth guys contributed. Look, you'd like to be in a position where you don't need to score 5 goals every night, but you're going to end up on some of these nights where your goalie doesn't have a great game. And it's great to see the Avs getting contributions from literally all 4 lines.
Yeah, to include, I've talked about Charlie Coyle and what he's done creatively with Ross Colton. It's a dam waiting to break. It is not Ross Colton, though, who helps to set up this play for Charlie Coyle. It's Erik Johnson and Miles Wood. And honestly, it's a great play, starting with Drury getting a stick on an attempted breakout for Columbus that disrupts its trajectory out. The Avs are able to claim that puck. Erik Johnson has to protect it along the wall in his own end, and he makes a great read for this angled outlet pass to Miles Wood to use his speed and gain that entry. And so they completely regained control over this play, and Miles Wood makes a smart play to get the puck under the stick, across the ice to Charlie Coyle opposite him in the circle. And it took a lot of patience then Johnson on the angled outlet and then Miles Wood on the cross ice pass to get it under the stick by waiting just a split second enough. And just a great shot from Charlie Coyle. That is the exact dam waiting to break that I've been waiting to see from him. Just beats Merzlikins far corner with a beautiful wrister from the circle. That's the kind of high-end play that I've been waiting for Charlie Coyle to bring to this team because he's shown flashes of it through this point. And another goal, I always talk about this, born from a little bit of hard work and some good decisions. And I think you see the momentum start to change in the Avs' favor too, because this wasn't a period that started very great for them. And all it takes is some of these guys making good decisions, grinding it out. It doesn't have to be the top guys that can make a difference in this game, and it's great for their confidence.
Well, and you mentioned Miles Wood is the one who sets up Charlie Coyle for that goal. You and I were literally talking, just kind of amongst ourselves as this game is going on, saying, what do you do with Miles Wood? Man, where are we at with him? Are you, how concerned are we about that? Can he really even be effective anymore? So to see him even be able to jump in and contribute, you just use the word confidence. It just builds that confidence for, hey, as we go through this playoff run and injuries crop up, you are going to need your depth guys to contribute. You're going to need players to come up on a nightly basis who aren't normally contributing. And so for even Miles Wood to have a role in setting up, Charlie Coyle's first goal as an Av, that's something else too that you like to take out of it. Sometimes we'll see depth guys get on the score sheet in the goal column. And then you look at it, it's like, Charlie Coyle from Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. So, okay, it was a depth goal, but, blah, blah, blah. Nope, these were both depth lines getting to work and finding ways to contribute to help get the Avs back in the game.
And shout out to Jack Drury. I've really loved all of the new additions. I think you could tell I am very protective of their success. And so I want to talk about it every chance I get. That looks incredible. And so there's something Jack Drury has done well for the Avs kind of quietly through this point that one, he plays a role in both of these goals, the Coyle and the Kelly goal. And the role he plays in the Kelly goal is something I've seen him do now. And it's how he keeps the puck in at the top of the zone. It's so expertly done because he's not playing high and making himself ineffective to the play. He is allowing it to continue. And it's a quick stick play too that helps to get that puck back to Parker Kelly. But I've seen him maintain and retain the zone with this same play now a couple of times. And I've always just thought that's really a nice little move from Jack Drury. And I like that he is able to play a hand in both goals because, as we've seen, Jared Bednar really loves that fourth line of Kelly, Drury, and OC, but he doesn't have to be attached to just those players to find success. Whoa. Okay.
Success.
End of intermission report.
I'm telling you. I don't know what's happening
intermission report.
Even Mark. I think Mark even came in here and had something that he liked. Maybe there's something just happening in this room.
We need a carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's not just that the pucks are going in; it's the way that they're doing it. It's the process. And look, again, this is another game where I'm going to draw parallels to.
Sorry, Vaguely's making me laugh in the chat.
I'm going to draw parallels to Dallas and Montreal, where, hey, look, you let the game start to get away from you, and you were able to put the brakes on it, get back in the driver's seat, break out for a flurry of goals. Now you get to do the part that I think you and I talked about on Monday of now comes the closing part of this game, where you need to come out, Columbus, it's a 2-goal lead. That is far from safe. Columbus is going to come out here, put the pressure on. We got to see the Avs really push back, stand strong, and keep Columbus off the board. Puck is down. Third period is underway. We are going to be back post-game to see how these 20 minutes wrap up for the Avs. Like we were just saying, the Avs got to make a strong push here. You got to defend. Columbus is going to be desperate. Best effort here. You clawed back into the lead. Now close it out. She's Meghan Angley. I'm Jesse Montano. Mark behind the glass tonight. We'll be back post-game, guys. We will talk to you then. See ya.